Hey everybody, so today we're here to do a Q&A, January's Q&A. You guys wanted Mark to be in it, so here he is. I asked you guys over on Instagram and here on YouTube in my community tab for questions, so I took a little bit from everywhere. Let's just go ahead and get started because there are a lot of questions. And if we are not opening our eyes all the way, it's because it's blinding bright in here with the reflections off the snow. We're trying our hardest. And we were both sick. So the first question is, we said we were interested in adoption. What kind and how soon? So this ties in with the next question that I was kind of surprised got as many upvotes as it did, but somebody asked how many kids we want. Now, I know before in the past I've answered that we wanted 4 kids, but the adoption kind of ties in with what we're leaning towards this time around. If you don't know, I'm 9 weeks pregnant, and we do have 2 daughters, but we're leaning towards this being our last biological pregnancy. Now, as far as like what kind of adoption we're interested in, we both have different ones that we feel more comfortable with. So we're trying to still find a middle ground, but that's not something that we're focused on right now because this pregnancy is going great and we're very confident that it's going to lead to a healthy and happy baby. But in the long run, adoption is still very much on the table. If we do have a 4th child, that's how they'll come to be, but only if and when we can agree on a way to adopt that we're both comfortable with. That's a huge decision. So I know that's still pretty vague, but I did want to address it because I felt like both of those questions tied in with each other. And do we plan on finding out the sex of this baby?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're not one of those kind of couples that can wait. We know as soon as we can, and actually this time around we're gonna go get the DNA gender test done, so we'll know almost 2 months earlier than what we typically know, because before we've only figured out at the anatomy scan, which is at 20 weeks, but we're thinking of doing it late February, which would put us at around 13 weeks, 14-ish by the time we get to know, so pretty exciting. Next question is, was Mark supportive of me starting a channel?
No.
He was the whole reason why I had a channel, because I don't think that I would have done it if you didn't keep nudging me. Like, he never pushed me, he never wants me to do things that I'm uncomfortable with, but I think Mark knows like what I'm uncomfortable with and what things I'm just saying that I am because I'm too scared to do them. And the YouTube channel was like, oh, I want to get my channel art right, and I want to do this, and I want to come up with the perfect name and all those things, and he just kind of kept nudging me and eventually did it. But yeah, he's the reason why you get so much of this now. And are we binge watching anything on Netflix or Hulu right now?
Me or you?
I think both of us. Me, it's a constant phase of revolving doors. I will find anything to binge watch. But I don't think... We have The Punisher, but we're not binge watching it. It's hard for Mark. Like, it's one of those shows where a lot of the times there's like a build up, you know, and Mark doesn't do real well with it. He tends to fall asleep a lot. So because of that, it takes a while to get through it. But that's really the only show that's on right now that we watch together. A lot of our shows have taken a break. You know, I think Handmaid's Tales is supposed... Handmaid's Tales. Handmaid Tales. What? Is it tail or tails? I don't know.
Handmaid's Tale.
Oh, that's what it is. Yes, you're right. I think that comes back in the spring, so we'll have that. How do we handle night feeds for our newborns? So when I'm direct nursing, obviously I pretty much take care of it, and I think I was waking you up for diaper changes. I think that's the only thing.
I can't even remember anymore.
Yeah, it's been a really long time. Our youngest is gonna be 3 in just a few months, and our oldest is 4. Will be 4.5 in just a few months, so it's been a while. But when I get to exclusively pumping, I pump and he feeds the baby. I've gotten crap for that in the past, but
I don't mind.
He doesn't mind.
I enjoy it.
He said it of his own free will, I promise. No, I wouldn't, I don't know, like, if the roles were reversed and for some reason he had to, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like it's only natural with us in any situation where we just help each other. But next question is, how did I manage to make videos when my kids were younger? I included this because I did get some questions that were more towards me, but I wanted to include this because it does have to do with Mark. When they were real young, like when we only had Sophie, it was just when she took naps and Mark was at work. So the house was quiet and I could make whatever I wanted when I wanted. And I only did like one video a week, I think is what I was doing then. But when we had Remy, that's when it kind of took over to he would watch the kids in a different room while I filmed most of the time. And that's still pretty much what we do. Unless like today where the girls spent the night at their grandma's house and I have a free morning where I can do anything. But for the most part, it's because Mark helps me so much. Next question, do we have any vacations planned? We are notorious for planning trips and canceling them promptly a day later.
Yeah.
We always do that. I don't know what it is other than...
Well, now I get another 2-week vacation to have this kid.
Yeah.
I think that's the only vacations I've had in 4 years.
Honestly. Yeah.
One heck of a vacation.
He likes it. I like it and you like it though. Being home that long. Neither one of us are ever ready for him to go back, but yeah, last time...
This year I do have 3 weeks off of vacation.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe I'll get to use that extra week this year.
That'll be fun. I'd like that. But we're also trying to buy a house and maybe get a new car and lots of other priorities. So I kind of want to take a small trip with them. We were thinking of maybe doing more of like, not necessarily going to like a park or somewhere focused, maybe hitting like a few smaller spots and going to different children's museums or doing more things that are outside, and I don't know, but that still all costs money. So no, we don't have any plan. We never do. How do we divide household chores? Do the girls help?
Do the trash.
You cut the lawn sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
During the summer.
Twice a year.
Yeah. He gets in this like rotation with the cutting of grasses. I'll be like, no, don't cut it today. I need you to be inside and help me and do this. And then it'll wait 2 days and then it'll rain. And then he'll have to wait like 5 days for it to get dry outside, because when it rains really hard out here, our lawn is like really just sucks it all in.
Moist.
Yeah, it is. It's a moist lawn. Some people are going to be offended by that word. But I would say you mostly take care of the things outside, because he like shovels the snow and you rake the leaves and stuff like that, because we have a tree that's over top of our driveway and it's horrendous when the leaves start falling. It's just like literally a whole tree just fell down in our driveway. There's so many leaves. But he takes care of stuff like that. And I would say like handy things. He also does like handy things, like putting in our air conditioners, taking them out. He
Those aren't
like
chores, are they?
Yeah, they are. Someone's got to do them. You know, fixes things when they need fixed, that kind of stuff. I would say that. And I take care of more of like the everyday kind of thing, like laundry and dishes and stuff. But it's not to be said that if he asked me to take out the trash, or for whatever reason asked me to cut the lawn, that I wouldn't do it. Or if I asked him to do dishes, I know he'd do them for me. So it's not like a hard rule. It's just kind of what we've fallen into over the years. And when we both used to work, you would wash dishes as often as I would and stuff like that, and even vacuum. So, and the girls do help. I would say mostly in the living room. We've worked with them for quite some time. They've come a really long way. So I remember when we used to tell them to pick up and they'd just like pick up one thing and go back to playing. But now they're really good about it, and they can actually pretty much pick up this entire living room when it's got toys unloaded all over the floor. As long as you help them and nudge them in the right direction and give them ideas of what they need to be picking up and where it needs to go, they can pretty much clean up a whole room by themselves. But that's something that'll keep coming with time. So this is for you. What advice would you give new dads?
Your 7 games of football are not more important.
Oh, shade, tea. Did I use those right?
No, I don't know. I'm too old for that.
I know. So your advice for new dads, what is it?
Just to help.
Give it to them straight.
Just to help out wherever you can. Um, I guarantee you, if you do one thing, it'll probably make their day.
When he pulls out the vacuum.
I know I had this mentality that because I punched in and punched out that and worked 9-10 hours a day, that I was doing 10 hours of work and she wasn't doing anything. But you don't get the luxury of clocking out. So I think when I come home, I'm there to help just as much, I guess.
He's right, but I don't think that mentality ever showed. I never felt like he was ever like, I did my fair share today, the baby's all yours. Like, he was never like that. He's always been such a hands-on dad and really great at helping me. Do we wish roles were reversed and Mark stayed home?
Yes.
Hell no. I mean, I guess that would mean that I left the house, but that's a hard question for me because I've been home with Sophie now over 4 years. So for me to think of not being here, that's really hard for me. Like, I don't think I could do that now that I've lived that life for so long. But if it was before everything,
I don't think I could stay home all day. That's
no?
Like anytime like Sundays and things, like I'm just itching to leave. Just even if it's just going down to the store real quick and come back. So I don't think I could do it every day.
Yeah. And that's another thing with him saying that mentality of like the 9 to 5 kind of thing, clocking in, clocking out. It's like sometimes you gotta humble them, you know? If they think it's real easy, maybe leave them for 8 hours with the kids, because trust me.
Another thing is I think when I go to work, I get to at least converse with other adults. Like, you being here with the kids, you don't get to talk to many adults.
You have no idea how much that plays a part in your day. Because, like, when he gets home, it's just, like, sometimes it's just word vomit. Like, I don't stop. Like, every adult thought I've had has got to be unleashed on somebody who understands it. Yeah, very true. But, I mean, I think he'd be a good stay-at-home dad. I mean, he's a great hands-on dad when he works now. So I don't, it's not a matter of, like, being able to do it or anything. But, yeah, now that I've been home with them for so long, I don't know that I don't even, you know, a lot of people, when I first started staying home, were like, oh, when are you going to go back to work? And I'd be like, never. I want to do this for the rest of my life. And then when my kids are in school, that's like my severance package, you know? But either way. How long have we been together? It's coming up on 7.5 years?
Yeah, 7.5 years.
I think February 22nd is 7.5. Just don't ask us how long we've been married, because neither one of us know that ever. It was so embarrassing. We were at the hospital and someone mentioned that they liked my ring and I was like, oh, thank you. And she's like, how long have you guys been married? And we literally like looked at each other and we're like trying to like count with our fingers, and we just don't. We keep track of how long we've been together, not married, because we don't even recognize the day we got married as our anniversary. We keep our anniversary as the day we started dating, that kind of thing. So don't ask us. What kind of home are we looking to buy? Now let me say this before we get into that. This is this is one piece of advice that I have for anybody who's prospectively buying a home with their significant other. Write a list down. Write a list down. Because we went to several open houses just really casually to get a feel of what we liked and what we didn't like. But after those open houses were some of the most heated discussions about the most senseless things, because we kind of didn't even know what we personally wanted or could live without. And it helped a lot when we wrote down and we put the things that this person absolutely wanted or needed, and what the other person needed and wanted, things we could live without. Just kind of made this list. It was so much easier. You feel a lot more on the same page. So with that being said, single family house, large living room, updated bathroom and kitchen. And by updated, I just mean like sometime after the 90s. A decent sized backyard where we are allowed to fence it in if it's not already fenced in. a garage for him. Not necessarily attached. He's not really picky on that aspect, but just as it's a decent garage. And am I forgetting? Oh, 3 bedrooms.
Yeah.
And within the limits of time for the school that the girls will eventually go to in his work. Because obviously he drives to work every day, and I will have to take the girls to school every day because we most likely won't get a house within the school district that they are going to be going to, which doesn't bug me because all schools around us are relatively close. But obviously I don't want to be driving 45 minutes every morning to school, so that's basically the kind of house that we're looking for. Not really picky on like the look of it or anything, just as long as it's not run down. Any boy or name girls we love but won't use, and I could only come up with that name because I don't think we had one boy name, and obviously that's the only one we've ever came up with. So we were watching Sinner, and we really liked the name of the main character, Cora. We really liked that name, but we kind of have a theme going with names, and it just doesn't really fit. If you haven't noticed, we like the ending with IE kind of sounds. So Sophie, Remy, hint, if we have another girl, it will end in that kind of ending. So, and it doesn't even really work with as a, like a middle name for the name that we like if we have another girl. So, but that's about it. And then I think one of the biggest questions was, what was our reaction to this pregnancy? Because we didn't film it. It was a moment we wanted to ourselves. And did you think it was going to be positive? I think you were pretty nonchalant about it.
Yeah, I mean, the last couple I've been pretty nonchalant.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, honestly, this one I was excited, but I don't know, I kind of was worried that it wasn't going to stay that way.
Yeah. I think Mark was a little bit more worn down at this point, and for whatever reason, from the start, the roles were kind of reversed, where I think in the past I'd always been the one who was like hesitant and worried from the start and just feeling everything even before we would even take a test. And Mark was always the one who's like, it's gonna be positive, it's gonna be great, it's gonna be perfect. And for whatever reason, just from the start, the roles were reversed this time, and it started with seeing my temperature slowly go up on my Ava bracelet, and I showed him, and I remember being like, my temperatures just keep going up. And then I took that ovulation test, and I think the second I saw that ovulation test, I was almost 100% sure that it was going to come up positive. And when it did, I was just like, home run, this is it. But it took a while, but I think the first ultrasound really sold him, and now he's back to his normal self. He's 100%, but it was very like, it was really reverse kind of reactions. But obviously every time we're pregnant, we're happy and excited and stuff. It's just the kind of baggage you pick up along the way sometimes can taint the experience a little bit. Next question is, how does Mark feel raising girls, and does he want a boy?
I mean, raising girls is all I know at this point, so feel pretty good about it. I did really want a boy, and at the beginning,
At the beginning.
I mean, and I'll be happy with one. I don't know, I guess the idea of it scares me. It's
Yeah.
like, I think I kind of know everything with the girls, at least for now.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, I'd be happy either way.
Yeah. I mean, I think that goes without saying. You know, I know some people struggle with those feelings of maybe wanting more of a gender than the other one, especially if they have all one gender so far. But I don't think that's how we feel necessarily. And honestly, at this point, I do want 3 girls. Like, I want 4 girls.
Honestly, I think I've just come to the terms that I'm okay that we're gonna have 3 girls.
Yeah,
it's just gonna happen.
Yeah.
So I think I'm just have accepted that.
I'm kind of convinced you can only make girls, because thus far that's what it's been. I think a lot of people are always like, Oh, poor dad. He's got 3 girls at home. It's like, the reason I married him is because he can handle a strong woman, and he handles us 3 just fine, trust me. Do we disagree on anything parenting-wise? Of course, small little things, like, I don't know, everyday things, but I'm trying to think, and I don't think that there's ever been anything substantial or, like, morally just, you know, those really fundamental kind of things that we've ever disagreed upon. And I think that's because him and I are on the same page regardless of parenting on almost all that stuff. You know, our morals, our beliefs, and all those kind of things kind of align.
Yeah.
So we don't ever really have that problem. But I couldn't think of an instance where we've really disagreed one way or the other about something really big. So, of course, little things, you know, day-to-day kind of stuff, but that's parenting. But the next question is, what's my favorite present Mark has ever bought me? I would say, like, of emotional and, like, heartfelt value, I would definitely say my necklace, because I've already explained the meaning behind this. I got this for Christmas. But if we're getting materialistic, it's my Subaru. Because that, well, it's kind of like a long story, but that's not my first Subaru that's out in our driveway. It's my second Subaru because we did wreck the first one during a bad snow night. Anyways, not the point. But that car in the driveway is almost exactly like our first one. So I kind of still see it as the same car because it looks exactly the same. But he got me my Subaru as a birthday present before we had Sophie. And it's kind of funny because he was trying to be really slick about getting me a car because I was in a tiny little Dodge Neon and couldn't get anywhere in a Midwest winter with it. And he really wanted us to be safe, and especially since I would be the one driving around the baby most of the time. And he spent months asking me if I liked this car or that car, and I'd be like, that's hideous. No, I don't like that. I don't want this. Because I just thought he was talking to me about cars. Not so much now after kids, but when Mark and I first met, and for quite a few years, he was always looking at cars, like just generally. So it wasn't odd for him to ask me about cars and what I thought about them. So I thought he was just asking to ask. So I was like brutally honest. It was kind of bad. But he finally told me because he's like, I have no idea what to get you. I want to get you a car, but you are ridiculous. So we went and looked at some, and we just happened to like roll into a Subaru dealership and left with the Legacy. And we've both really fallen in love with that car. And honestly, after that wreck, I don't think you could convince us to buy, like, invest in another car that wasn't a Subaru. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because that thing was a beast. But, yeah. It's my baby. I take care of it very well. It's never, like, needs to be clean, taken care of, all that stuff. And next to last question is, do we like the same food? I would say no. We don't. I'm the type who I like 4 things. I could eat them for the rest of my life.
Chicken, and chicken with cheese on it.
All right. For the times we go to Longhorn, yeah, you're right. You can throw their Tunyon in there somewhere too. Yeah. I am that kind of type where when I like things, I'll beat it to death. Like, I don't get sick of it. But he is very much, I wouldn't say you're like necessarily adventurous or anything crazy. Yeah. He just likes different things. He does not like monotony, you know, does like for it to be switched up. And he does try more things than I do though. Like, he likes seafood and stuff. I'm not a real big fan of that. I don't even like beef, like red meat in general. I'm just not a real big fan of the taste and things. So we do have, and like even snacks, like I'm a really boring snack lover. Like the things that I buy are so boring. And Mark will go get some like fun new crazy things, and I'm like, just give me my same old, same old. But yeah, we're a little bit different that way. And the last question is, what's something meaningful you each do for each other? And I had to think about this one beforehand, so I cheated a little bit, but I'll go first so you have time to think. But I thought about it, and I think what you do on a day-to-day basis that's the most meaningful to me is sometimes by the time he gets home, it's been like a rough day, or even if it's not been, but just stressful situations, I tend to get stressed out instantaneously. That's just my personality, and that's how I am. And it's not like I take it out on everybody around me or anything like that. I think he can just see me internally getting stressed out, and he genuinely does not like when I am, just for the sake of me not being stressed out. So he'll just take over for me without even saying anything or being pushy or making it obvious or anything. So I'm able to like walk away for 30 seconds and like get my wits about me, if that makes sense. And it means a lot because like I said, I hate asking for help. I hate it. It's not that I'm too proud to, it's just like I don't want to put other people out. So I don't want to ask for help. And I don't like when people tell me how stressed out I am, because if I could calm myself down, I would. But it's hard for me, especially when you're in the thick of that situation. So when he just does those things, it's like without saying anything, and with absolutely good intentions of just wanting me to not be stressed out so I don't have that weight, like it means a lot. It does. So whether it's taken over with the kids, or we're going somewhere and he just takes over in that sense, or just, whatever it is, stuff like that, it does mean a lot to me. No pressure, but there is no more battery and the camera's gonna get on fire.
I mean, I think the one thing I've always said is that you just taking care of me in general, whether it be when I'm sick or just doing things that you do on a daily basis to make sure that everything's taken care of. The food, all the grocery shopping, all the budgeting.
As much as you hate it.
All the things that you just do on a daily basis. But definitely when I'm sick. Although right now we're both sick, so it doesn't count.
Okay, so that is all the questions. We are like barely hanging on by a thread. The battery is gone. The camera's gonna light on fire. Both of us need to go have a lozenge because we're coughing nonstop. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and as always, thanks for watching.